Alright, so here we go. Hey there guys, how's it going? This is Suzaku here. I'm a pretty experienced hunter in the whole Monster Hunter series. Been playing it since the very first one on PS2. And this is really the first video I've been doing that has any sort of real content or anything like that. I felt like I should show you guys my Charge Blade build, the skill build, and why I think it works. I've been seeing a lot of other YouTubers that are really popular lately release a lot of misinformed, misguided Charge Blade videos on like what's the best DPS and all this and all that, and just really annoying because they don't really understand what the hell they're talking about. So I thought I'd take up the mantle and show you guys what's going on. First and foremost, the way you DPS with the Charge Blade, at least currently in this current build of the game, is by spamming ultras, or super amped elemental discharge is what the game calls them. I just call them ultras because it's a lot easier than saying elemental super amped discharge, whatever. But that's how you do DPS. You do DPS with ultras. Also, criticals, they don't really work in a Charge Blade build. I've seen a lot of builds on YouTube that try to put a little bit of points into it or emphasize critical, but the way you do your damage with ultras is with file damage, and file damage does not crit. It doesn't have, it doesn't crit. So you don't have to worry about crit at all. So things like critical boost, critical eye are more or less pointless in the build. All right. But that being said, the staple part of this build is the Diabolus Tyrannus 2. It's currently the highest raw Charge Blade out in the game right now. Like I sate earlier, your ultras depend on pure raw damage. So having the best Charge Blade with the highest raw is the way to go. Note to you, it does have negative 30% affinity. But that negative 30% affinity doesn't happen as often as you think it would, and it's more or less an ignorable part of this weapon. I do not really care that I hit for 25% less 30% of the time on attacks that all I'm doing is charging meter. Alright, so with this build, I have attack boost 7. Obviously, the more attack power you have, the harder you hit, and like I said earlier, ultras rely on pure raw. So, bigger attack, bigger raw damage, bigger ultras. Simple put. With focus, I notice a lot of people do not run this in their Charge Blade build whatsoever. Friends, other popular YouTubers, other experienced Charge Blade, no one runs this for some reason. I don't understand why. I think focus is incredibly strong. I think it's incredibly underrated, and the reason why I think it's really good is because, I mean, just read the skill. It increases the fill rate by 20% and reduces charge time by 20%. So the whole point of doing your ultras is getting your red files as fast as you can, and then releasing those red files via ultra. And not only do you get the files faster, the animation to charge the sword is faster as well. So 20% faster charge, 20% faster gain of red files equals more ultras going out, more damage equals things die a lot faster, aka big dick, big boy damage. Alright. Artillery 3 increases the attack power of your files by 30%. This is another stable part of the build. I think you absolutely must have this if you want to do any sort of damage with the Charge Blade. It's very easy to build. Just slap on an Artillery 3 charm with Anjanath parts, I believe, and you're good to go. Stun resistance. I gem this in because I think being able to shake off stun 60% faster is a lot better than being stunned for like 10 plus seconds and getting killed, especially when it comes down to Tempered Elders and other higher rank monsters that kind of insta-gib you once you get stunned. This is jeweled in. This isn't really essential, but it's kind of just part of the build because whatever. And then there's Weakness Exploit. I know a lot of people that really like Weakness Exploit 3. Unfortunately, I couldn't fit it into the build, but having at least 1 point into it is alright. A 15% increased crit chance, it's not a make or break deal, but having it there is nice because when your axe slam downs do crit, it's rather nice. But like I said earlier, you do your damage through your ultra files. The axe slam down does do a lot of damage, but that's not where your damage is coming from. It's coming from your explosions. Speaking of explosions, we have capacity boost, right? So what capacity boost does is it gives your regular 5 files an extra file. So instead of 5, you have 6. So instead of releasing 5 shockwaves, you release 6 shockwaves. And your shockwaves do about 100 damage each. So having an extra 100 damage boost for only 1 skill point, I think is huge. Why wouldn't you do this? And then non-elemental boost. basically what non-elemental boost does is that it makes non-elemented weapons have a boost as if it were to have an element. So since the Diabolus Tyrannus has a sleeping element of ice, it's not awakened because I'm not running free element. It counts as an elementless weapon. So I get that extra attack power boost as if it did have an element, right? So it has a base attack power of 846. I do have an attack augment increase on here. I don't have enough stream stones to get the second attack augment, but more or less, the base attack power is 846. Now, with my skill build all up in here, attack boost, whatnot, I have 1062 attack power, right? So that's already the attack plus going, and that's just crazy. But anyways, that's the build. I'm going to show you guys a video here that I recorded earlier today, basically showing the build in action. I'll be commentating it and telling you guys why basically this build works, alright? So here we go. I believe this was the best run I had. Just put on a Rock City Mantle here because this is like, the point is to like show you guys the build in action. I don't really want to get knocked around. I don't want to like, you know, get screwed up. So, but anyways, you see how fast I was able to charge the files with Focus 3? That was 3 hits and I got red file from that. That was 2 hits. I got red file from that. Pretty crazy, right? So already you can see Focus doing its job. Now you want to line up your Ultra here. And my FPS dropped because that's a lot of numbers going out. But still, pretty decent. Get that slam down going. And this is how you do damage with the Charge Blade, like I was saying earlier. Like, this is how you DPS. If you're not ultra spamming on a Charge Blade, you're doing it wrong. Get control of your angles, understand the monster you're fighting. At least those ultras do that damage, kill things fast. That's how you play Charge Blade. At least in my opinion. I didn't really need to ultra Gyros, right? Or not Gyros. Jagras right there, but whatever. Also, pro tip, you can actually thwack dead bodies or cut tails to get meter. So that stuff works with like dual blades, switch axes, and whatnot. So I just did that to get a cheap and easy way of getting 6 files and then charge red file again to get another ultra out. Starting on Dodogama here. I know he's going to roar here at this point because he goes straight into enrage due to the amount of damage I did, but charging the sword is just fine. Extra damage is always nice. Also, my impact or Rocksteady just wore off, so I want to war on impact because that does KO damage. Unfortunately, Dodogama trips right here. He would have gotten knocked out from that, but whatever. I knock him out with my sword instead. I double roll back here because I want to be able to get this spacing correctly. And another ultra. Boom. So, as you see, like, I'm doing like, you know, 30, 40, whatever. I don't really care about my sword damage. What my damage I really care about is my ultras. So again, another ultra. Boom! Slam down again. Boom. So that was a 3 right there. I should have just auto-attacked him once, but instead I do a charge attack. Doesn't really matter, but optimization, etc., etc. And then there you go. Another ultra. So that took me 3 minutes and 4 seconds. That was with a little bit of planning inside of the run, so the run's probably like sub 3. So it took me about a minute or so each to kill each of those monsters in a triple hunt. That's a high rank mission, by the way. But yeah, that's my Charge Blade build in a nutshell. I think that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to comment on the video or whatever the heck you like. But other than that, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you all next time. Okay, bye-bye.